Good morning, yellow crystal seeds. I'm starting to get very excited. Here we go again. Everything is seed zonal. Seasonal. We go around in circles. And I just get excited. Whew. Yellow crystal seed. This morning I woke up, I was like, oh, really? What you gonna talk about? I mean, really, the last 2 or 3 days have like given it stick, so to say. And I'm like, I'm empty. I have nothing. Nothing. If I don't have seed, what's gonna grow next? But you know what? We always have seed. I'm sorry. Hocus pocus focus. I'm so excited. I'm sorry. I'm trying to contain myself. Why am I so excited? Because this is, man, we're talking potential. Yesterday we talked Blue Night. We're talking Skywalker wave spell. We're talking, you know, some call it manifestation. Some call it making your dreams a reality. Some call it just like how to get a good life, or how to get the most out of life, or put the most into life, or the best out of life, or whatever. You know, how to live a good life, how to be in balance, how to be in our spiritual evolution, how to be at peace, especially when shit hits the fan. This is what we're training for. And I think that's something I need to learn. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, I've got too much going on. I want to say a million things. Let me start with how I feel. And how interesting this is. Another reason I'm so excited, because even in this process, I discover so much. And I can only hope that in some way, in some far off, wild wonderland of resonances, these ripples on my ocean reach your shores. It's like I'm storming over here. Ooh, if this exponentially magnifies, you have a tsunami on your shore. We don't want that. Okay, but here's my point. 2 points I want to make right now in parallel. How do I bring them together? One is, I sense something in my body. I feel something. And I have never been told, I have never been taught anything at all about physiological sensations. Not in my upbringing, not in my... The only thing I remember being told anything about is like muscle ache, hunger, maybe a little bit of fatigue, growing pains, but nothing else. And no blame that I grew up in a world where the body is just like a car. It better just function. We put fuel in, we take it for service, and that's it. But now I'm breaking open, or I'm growing in awareness on all kinds of things in the body. I feel like this vibration, for example. Today, this now, I feel it really, I could call it really subtle. I could call it really intense. I could say it's the coffee. I could say the thing is, it is not about what I could say, what it is. And this is my point. First of all, to notice it to begin with, and then to notice how am I responding. I have a physical response to it, and I have a mental response to it. And I'm sure if I have in my mental field somewhere the projection of a problem, I will also have an emotional response to this. I don't right now, but these two responses I have. One is my body itself responds with a little bit of tension, like my shoulders want to tense up about this thing that I don't know what exactly it is. And or I may not know at all what it is, but I'm feeling it, I'm sensing it physically. And then my mind starts immediately piping up stories. And therein lies my construction of reality, of explanations. I fit puzzle pieces together and I make them fit, or I just juxtapose them. They may not, that's the one thing. And now I've just told a story. And again, I respond to that. I'm constantly responding to myself. And I use the word responding because I'm currently aware, so I can call it responding. And I'm kind of like, the responses are slow enough and maybe conscious. I could use the word reacting. I prefer responding. But that may already be an automatically biased filter. Never mind. Respond or react to the story, because it immediately becomes part of a greater story, and then the whole responds to this. It's like you add a new instrument or a new tone into an already existing musical piece. It will affect everything. It will affect the harmonies, the resonance. It feels like that. I don't know what to do about it. I'm just relating it. And the other reason I'm so excited is because it's like another story. It's like, what am I feeling? I'm feeling the activation of seed potential. That is another interpretation. And now I'm feeling the activation of the yellow human. Like, I get to choose. And now I get completely overwhelmed. What do you mean? I have to choose. Like, it's too much. How can I choose? And then I get tense and say, oh God, please limit my options. And then God says, oh, your wish is my command. Poof. But meantime, I'm a seed. And I want to expand. I want to grow into my whatever I'm designed to be. And maybe this is what a seed feels like when the time has come for it to sprout. It buzzes all of its core components on all levels, molecules, atoms, quarks, ideas, all the ancestors that are in the quantum field or wherever encoded into this little seed, they are vibrating. They're starting to vibrate because here comes another opportunity to express a crystal tone 12 today, a crystallized, a manifest, in this case physiological, biological, whatever, in other realms, other things, version of us, of, yeah. And that buzz, and if I shut it down, and maybe one of the reasons we love coffee is it creates to me it creates a very similar buzz in my system. It's like it adds energy to the transformational process. Anyhow, yellow seed, crystalline tone. Before I read something here, which I find very wonderful, I want to say the important thing today is dedicate, universalize cooperation. On tone 12, we we bring it together. It's the point of, like, we're 10 has been a semi-isolated manifestation, something like, not, like whatever, something has been created, produced, manifested, made visible, made usable, made knowable, made seeable, whatever the case may be. On tone 12, on tone 11, it got liberated, we got liberated. And on tone 12, we, or it, or what, come together with something other, or let that, or bring the experience, say, of the last 12 days, or whatever, we bring it to the table of our own experiences. We weave it into we see how does it fit, where does it fit, how does it, where is it going with everything else. My recording just now, 11:11, got a phone call, watched the phone call end, looked at the timer, 11:11. Thank you. Noted. Stay focused. Yellow seed, focus. Flowering target awareness. Now the Skywalker is the explorer of wakeful explorer of space. Sorry, states too. What's a state versus a space? Not going there today. At least not right now. But here we are flowering. So when we think bringing heaven to earth, I mean, gosh, nature is just really it. Green, it's so soothing, it's beautiful. Flowers are beautiful. The animal kingdom, the fauna and flora are beautiful. I'm totally enamored with our modern technology of HD film and photography. The nature films we get to see these days, where they're filming whatever it is they're filming in the nature, anywhere, it's like unbelievable. The colors, the rendering, the detail, the unbelievable. For me, nature, just look at a fly. A fly is a pretty good example because we don't consider them typically beautiful. First I wanted to take a bee, but bees are more beloved by humans, I think, than flies. So it's just to look at a fly, an insect, anything, like how it works, how it looks like, who is the architect, what were they thinking, what is, like, that is created, that exists. And even if it only exists in the field of our imagination, if it isn't out there, if we, whoever this we is, whoever the I am is, whoever the creator is, if it only lets us experience it within the neurological firings of, but then there would be a brain, it doesn't matter. It's mind-blowingly amazing. And it should just really tell us something about the creative force of existence. And we are an integral part of that. There are these incredibly beautiful videos of the workings of the body. I only see them as shorts. I mean, oh my goodness. And a three-dimensional rendering of the inner workings of the body. Any system, they take the foot, the hand, the neurological system, the kidneys, the thyroid, the what, and they make some kind of filmy thingy out of it. It's just unbelievable what that looks like. So that's flowering. And to have the word flowering together with the seed is not the flowering, yet the flower ends up being the seed, and the flower together are like a dragon and monkey, red dragon, blue monkey, mother and child. The one begets the other, begets the other, begets the other. It's like a loop. this universe is the seed to the next universe. It will change and become. Everything is changing and becoming. We're always changing and becoming. The seed becomes the plant, becomes the flower, becomes the seed, or the fruit which holds the seed. There are non-flowering plants, they work differently, but there are all kinds of creatures that work differently. But the essence is the same. And it would do us so well, at least in the Western mindset which I come from, which I live in, which is the context. If I look out through the windows of my eyes, that's what I see. The way we are aging, the way we are dealing with death, the way we are dealing with life. The way we deal with death determines the way we deal with life, in my understanding. So when I was about 13, I made it my business to understand death, because I realized, what? I don't know nothing if I don't understand that. I mean, where am I going? What am I here for if I don't know where I'm going? And this yellow seed targeting your goal, for someone else, death doesn't matter at all. The goals are within the life. And I mean, we all have different goals. I sometimes get the critical eye for not having maybe enough goal, or enough, I'm not goal oriented enough in this embodiment's life, but my goal is, I have goals. It took me many years to realize, wait a minute, I couldn't set any goals along the lines that all the goal setting books and gurus were suggesting, because I didn't understand why I couldn't until I understood. Anyway, it's still a work in progress, and a discovery, because there's seed potential in me. I'm a becoming process. I'm a process of being and becoming. I'm always being and becoming. And in this wave spell, today we're seed, on 12, crystalline seed, we're all being and becoming. And we're being and becoming together, individually and together. A forest consists of trees and plants, and there are plants and trees that are not forest thriving. They don't belong into forests. They thrive alone. They stand alone. And the world, the earth, has the wherewithal for it all. No need to criticize sheep. They belong into the herd. That is their purpose. We do not do well to try to make a sheep into anything else. Every now and then one of them will leave the herd and say, like, fuck this shit, I'm done. But the others are feeling well there. And they should. Anyhow, jokes aside, serious. We are, seed, becoming, eternally becoming. Now, tomorrow, serpent. Anytime serpent, life force, instinct, and survive. Survive. Okay, that comes after the seed. Once it's been born, every living thing has a drive within itself to survive. And if it doesn't, and maybe not every living thing has, if it doesn't, it may not. Or maybe it has an inborn program as to just exactly how long it will live. Some seedlings sprout to become food, to be eaten while they're young. Not every seed turns into a full-blown tree. Neither is every human meant to live out a full term. Absolutely not. And it's another point of contention for me. In the Western, modern, civilized paradigm, we do not really comfortably allow for that. We see a death of a child, for example, as it's a problem, it's something that's wrong, it shouldn't be happening, it should not be happening. In as much as, yeah, and so we're kind of like, that's our relationship with death. It's not, it's to me, in my understanding, out of whack. I'm not saying it's not a grievous experience, but we make it so much worse with our attitude towards it, and our true lack, in my eyes, of true understanding of who we are and what spirit is. But this is the time and place for us to experience a very materialistic way of life, really closed in the box. And that's a kind of like a pressure cooker that brings out different potentials from the seeds we are. We are multidimensional seeds, multidimensional beings, and different environments bring out different expressions of us. So when we're going into a very, in my eyes, limited, the relatively small box of material 3 dimensions, we start opening the material 3 dimensions into something else, whether we're creating it or whether we're discovering it, maybe debated. But for example, quantum physics is the drive of, we gotta get out of this freaking box. Like, we going out into astrophysics? Astronomy is one of them. Exploring the physiologically observed universe, out and out and out. What's out there? What's out there? What's out there? What's out there? We're trying to get out of the very narrow box, and it makes us very creative, and it takes us all over the place. Quantum physics is another one of those. To me, it's like these are 2 polar opposites, but they're the same thing. The way in is the way out. Whatever. That's just me musing around here. Right. Don't forget, Tatjana, note to self. Microdosing. The next seal, and in the next wave spell, in 2 days, we're starting the World Bridger. Death, equalize, opportunity. So, from the dream field, from the dragon, the first seal, the beginning itself is birthed from the end. So a beginning is birthed, the potential for beginnings is birthed, the universe is birthed, the field of all potentialities is birthed, a new anything is birthed. Dragon, which in itself is the mother to everything that comes into, out of, through that, like a portal, like whatever you want to call it. Then comes the wind, second seal, the breath of life. In the beginning was the word. The sun and the wind together inseminate the beginning and the end. Like, that's what brings forth the next creation in some way. And then we go into the night. All the potentials, everything that can be, is there, and will now become individualized components in some dimension. We are 3rd dimensional. I'm not 3rd dimensional. We're multidimensional. Gets a bit more complex, but it's still the same principle applies. And then we get all these explanations, whether or not we're forming multiverses, or whether or not we are collapsing the wave function, and the rest goes with that. A decision is a decision, and the other stuff just does not exist. Until such a time as there's an opportunity for that to exist, it gets hairy. I find the multiverse actually a little easier to understand, but that's just my own bias. And my comfort zone, perhaps. And my wish to imagine, like, no. I'm a bit commitment phobic occasionally, so the multiverse is like, oh, okay. We're safe. I can make a decision because every decision gets made. Somewhere, somehow. Anyhow. Then we go into the seed, which means now it's the potential made into a seed. And lots of it, because, imagine every seed, imagine every possibility of our mother and father, what could come out of it in terms of children, in terms of genetic. If they could have thousands of children, each would be slightly different. So the seed potential is there. And maybe in the multiverse scenario, every possibility is played out. Every possibility is somehow played out. I mean, it's staggering to imagine, because with every possibility, it itself starts a multiverse. Every possibility starts a multiverse. So death is the beginning of, in this case, because we're going from the serpent, from the seed to the serpent, which means now everything that starts to live and vibrate alive has within itself encoded the instinct of its own survival. It's a program. It's not free will. You, at that level, they don't get to choose that. That level doesn't choose that. That is a program. That's a core programming. Free will later on might decide, I'm going to terminate this thing. I don't like it. I don't like it here. But this is me talking from a very limited human perspective. I don't know if a life form also, I don't know, but theoretically speaking, if only the yellow human is the free will, then in all of this there isn't free will. And then comes death, the letting go, as much as you're like, it's not death in the way we see it, but it's the being and becoming, evolving, eternally evolving. Even if it's cyclical and at some finite point evolves back into its own beginning, like the Ouroboros perhaps, like it goes back and we become, I personally feel I would love to live my own life over and over and over, and have the wherewithal to add nuance. Would I live this life over 1-to-1? Yeah, in a heartbeat. There's some things I've experienced that I would experience again, and no question. Yes, the price I've paid was like insane, but I'm still here. So it didn't kill me. It didn't kill me. It could have. It surely could have. But it didn't. And someday it will. And then I move on to the next. I become the next thing. Whatever I become then. And I'm super curious about that. Sometimes I can't wait. But everything adds crystalline. All my experiences are seeds in the field. Every thought. Quantum physics tells us. I think a lot of spiritual schools of thought tell us. Everything adds to the collective. Do we want to be mindful of what we add to the collective? Or is there like a safety mechanism? Anyway, what has no benefit will fall by the wayside. Everything, we're creating a world that holds. The universe exists and it has an interest. It also has this instinct of survival, self-preservation, and thriving, and love, and flow, and. That is all an emanation of itself, of the divine. Experiencing, thriving, being and becoming. And there is a transition from one state to another, turning from a seed into a seedling, into a plant with roots. When you look at a plant with roots, it looks very different to the seed. When you look at an egg and a sperm cell, they look very different from the human. An infant looks slightly different from an adult. A decomposed body after a long time looks very different to an alive body. Slightly different. Maybe if there's a lot of skeleton and bones, there's a likeness. But that's also thinking, whatever. I mean, the earth herself is the decomposed ancestry. All of our ancestors are in the earth, they are forming the seed for us. They are seed. They are the earth. Its information goes into the plants that we eat. It's a full circle, which is why what we eat could be significant. And when we eat a lot of chemical food that hasn't come from the earth, but that comes out of some sort of lab, I don't know how they create that shit. I don't know how it is, what it's made of. What is that information made of? Anyway, a discussion for a different day. So another thing that's really, really interesting is today the musketeers, what I call the musketeers, the wizard, the earth, the eagle, and the warrior, guided by the warrior we are. These four are all present in this wave spell. It's not always like that, but it's like that in this case. So, and they are 4 in a row. We start with the Skywalker, day 1, and then day 2 to 4 is wizard, eagle, warrior, and earth. So tone, and it's so fascinating. This is like, how do we can look at every wave spell perhaps with this pattern, since we are this thing of pattern recognition is very important to human. It's very important to creation. It's very important to analysis, and to the workings of things. We want a thing to work. Skywalking is like the process of how do we make this work. If I want to create a machine or a TV or anything, I want it to work. I want it to do what I want it to do. So if I create myself, if I am is my creator, I am creating myself, and I am now not making a distinction between higher, lower, middle selves. It's all one. Then these 4, the combination of these 4, and then the seed on 12. If I take another wave spell, let's take the next one and just look at that. Tones 2 to 4 are here. Hand, you're gonna, if you don't understand the system, you're gonna just have to bear with me for a second. Hand, star, moon, and dog. Healing, knowing, accomplishment. Art, elegance, beauty, and harmony. Flow, universal water, purification, and loyalty, love, heart, compassion, let's say community also. And then we have tone 12, red earth. Red earth doesn't have these 4 in her. In fact, red earth has a blue hand, yeah, clearly. A blue hand and guided by, wait, the moon. Okay, so 2 of the 4 are there. Oh, wait, yeah. 2 of the 4 are there, but that's relative. I don't know if that's irrelevant. I'd have to look at the next wave spell if 12. I'm not going to do that. A blue storm. So we have, oh yes, oh wow, there's again 2 present to the dog. Next wave spell. 2 are present. Wait. Yes, to the night. Okay, so if I go next, serpent, death and warrior, blue hand, no warrior, star, the warrior guides the star, is guided by the star, and a moon. All right, and blue knight. At least 1 is present. I wonder if there's ever a wave spell where none of these are present. Must be, must actually be, but maybe not. Anyway, back to today. So these all 4 are present in this crystal tone. So to form our seed potential, or to realize our seed potential, collectively, tones 2 to 4, tones 2 to 5, lunar, electric, self-existing overtone. I'm really relating them now to this crystalline tone. That's like the way of the workings of the engine. I can't analyze this any further. I need to let this sink in a bit. But we have today, and in this wave spell, the antipode to the seed is the wizard. And the wizard is also the lunar position to the skywalker, which means the challenge, the stabilization, the stabilizing factor. Which if it doesn't stabilize, it challenges. So you have two legs as a human, they stabilize you. If they don't work, they challenge you. Or if one of them doesn't work, or if you don't know how to walk, you're a little challenged. Receptivity, the wizard. Wait a minute, let's go here. Receptivity, timelessness, enchantment. If enchantment, it's like we in the modern world are underplaying the ability to play, to be enchanted a lot. It's not really a criterion that you learn like you must at all times maintain your enchantment ability and your inner child. No, we become serious. We get that driven out of us by and large. We're changing that now, but it's not a core component of what it means to grow up. I photograph a lot of these. Oh, Tatjana, leave your judgment out of this. Okay, will do. Rituals of transition from the 14-year-olds, 12, 13-year-olds go through in this culture, transitioning into like communion in the Christian tradition. There's like this becoming of age ceremony here that happens. I photograph a lot of them, and they are speeches and whatever the youth get told what it means now that they are adults. And yes, there is freedom of responsibility. There is responsibility. It means to be a responsible adult. All kinds of things. There's never any mention like don't forget to play, and don't forget to be in awe of life. And that is so important to the skywalking process, the creating of what we want. It's a creative process and an exploring process. They belong together. One doesn't work without the other. If you are a creator of anything, you explore your options and your possibilities. And the world bridger, which we're going into in 2 days, death, opportunity, equalization, is the best friend, the analog kin of the skywalker. So try a thing, try a new thing, try, new thing, be and become. And then it works or it doesn't work, we're letting it go. We're dying all of the time that we made such a thing about the physical death. It's just, to me, it's like beyond, but that's what happens. You only have this life, make the most of it. That is to me, it's such a problematic, it's a really problematic concept. It's a really problematic concept. We create, in my books, and please correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of problems, so-called, and maybe again it's challenges. We're creative. It makes us creative. Where you lock a seed, a human, into the dimensions of one lifetime. It's like making a third-dimensional being or a multidimensional being one-dimensional. It's so drastic. To me, that is so drastic. Yes, you can find your peace. Yes, you can be completely a well-functioning human in that, of course, no question. Not every human who believes that or is in that paradigm is dysfunctional. By all means not. But a lot of dysfunctionality does come out of that. A lot of non-peace is created in that. And then you have to remember, or we have to remember, concepts get coupled. If I'm now living in a concept of one life only, and I couple that with the concept of some other horror after I die, or a total annihilation, or the concept of limited resources, or whatever, I mean, why are we having this incredibly I don't see anything wrong with us wanting life extension. Understanding the mechanics of life, like how is it we're only living 80 years? It makes no sense. Why create a human with all of our potential and then give it this lifespan? It made sense at some other point in time, because I mean, how much potential did one human have to live out in its life? But now these potentials are increasing, so we're getting longer lives. Naturally, we don't have to really drive for it. But it also means we have to understand something about how to stay healthy and fit and not spend the last 10 years of our lives in diapers. You know, that's not really it. I think I might be wrong. Maybe that is it. Maybe it's deeply satisfying life. We just don't see it that way from the outside. Seed potentials. So the wizard, and then the eagle. The next is the analog to the seed. To know where am I planting my seeds, or which seeds. For me, this is a confusion personally. Like, am I, how responsible? What is this free will? What is my jurisdiction? What do I have to? Do I just have to become the vessel for the divine, the soil of the potentials that are already in me? Do I have to choose my potentials? We do that all the time anyway. Okay, there are schools of thought that teach me something that gives me peace with the system. And that's important. Peace is definitely important. How do I see my life? How do I see the next 50 years? Do I see 50 years beyond the next 50 years? Do I see 50 years beyond those next 50 years? How far do I need to see to keep a door open? Is it enough that I say, well, when I get there, I will open or close the door? I will consciously decide myself. But until I get there, I'm going to be in at least this physiological state of fitness. That would be good. But am I locking myself into, like, I have to keep open this or something better? Kryon teaches us one of the most powerful prayers you can say is this or something better. This or something better. And the better is known. Even if I don't know what the better would be, my limited mind. And this is another thing I came upon this morning when I was for a moment about the seed, and a moment I got flooded with like perhaps an awareness of the field of endless possibility, Blue Night or Red Dragon, and I got overwhelmed. And then I realized, but wait a minute, it's my limited mind. My mind cannot process. My mind, this thinking, talking, analyzing, the analytical mind is not built for that. I am misusing it if I'm trying to, taking it into the quantum realm and stuff. It's really stretching it. It's really, really stretching it. And it's good to stretch it. The body also needs stretching and working, and our potentials need to, we are in expanding. The universe is expanding. We are expanding. We are the universe expanding. We are the expanding universe. So just to leave a few blank spaces in who I am, like this, that's not been painted in yet, that's not been filled in yet, and that's not going to be filled in by just a copy of the same. I can't wake up in the morning and just be a copy of myself from yesterday. I cannot just walk around being a copy of myself. Can I? No. I gotta add the copies. Photocopies degrade. When our cells copy themselves, they degrade like photocopies, hence the telomeres get shorter. There's a degradation process happening, hence we see the kind of aging we're seeing. What do we do about it? How do we copy? We got to rebirth. That's why the world bridger is very important. That's why this whole process to understand a primary being, they say in the Tolkien, in the dream spell at least, from the red dragon to the blue hand, It's the creation of primary being. And the blue hand, and I remind us, red dragon, white wind, blue knight, yellow seed, red serpent, white world bridger, blue hand, 7 seals, 7 chakras, 7 the channel, the blah, 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 primary being. But that's not changeable. Thereafter, we have created a being which then lives, explores, expands, and does things. But ourselves live, we're not fixed. On every level, the quantum field changes, the atomic fields change, the light fields change, the cell fields, cellular structure changes. Do we allow for that change? The serpent sheds skin, and we don't see the transition from serpent to lizard or from lizard to serpent. Let's make an example. I'm not saying there is such a transition, but if there were, we wouldn't see it. If there's a transition where the serpent now transitions into something with legs, it has to, sometimes in the evolutionary process, Darwin tried to see that. Darwin tried to show us that is happening. That is Darwinian evolution. That is that principle. It has its holes, it doesn't always hold. There's a quantum jumping going on, which Darwin didn't account for, whatever. I'm not there to analyze that, or but we wouldn't see, and we often don't, and that's one of the criticisms of Darwin. We're not seeing snakes with little thingies coming out of their sides, which is the developing legs. When a serpent decides, quote unquote decides, I'm done being serpent, I want legs, it's going to die and not rebirth itself into the serpent being. It's going to rebirth itself into a being that already has the legs. Something like that. This is a theoretical concept. This is not an empirical truth. But as for our own selves, as for me, if I can't see, if as of yet, I have not seen a 500-year-old human, there may be good reason for it. I'm not even saying I want to be that. I'm saying I want to have that option. The option I want is to live in this state, and this is the option I affirm. This has got to be some of the seed put into me, and I see proof of it. I get told about it. So now this Skywalker is exploring, like, how to transcend the body. Yes, dying is one thing, but how do I live in the flesh, fully functional, as an evolving universe? Probably the body is a temporary thing, as is everything else. But then something else comes. But for now, I'm body, and I'm not done with being body by a long shot. There's a lot of exploring through the body that is still ahead of me that I can see can fill lifetimes. But maybe that's limited. Maybe the blank spaces will tell me someday, like, oh my God, being this is so much more fun than being that. And then we transcend the body and evolve into another being, or another kind of human, or another anything else. It's open. The field is open. Maybe we become what we now call an AI robot type of thing. Who knows what this new species that is arriving on the planet, sentient or not it may be, is adding to the playing field of, and then when we can hybridize with technology, who knows what fields that opens up. A lot of the time that is talked about, I hear a lot of worry talk about it, and that talk is relatively loud. But that is, I'm sure, in other fields that I'm not listening to or hearing, there's a lot of excitement about it. Because of the potentials of it. And I personally prefer to see potentials. If it turns out it doesn't work, or it's not really adding anything to experience, it just won't last. I don't think we need to worry about anything. The annihilation of the human, like the discontinuation of human, we're worried about AI discontinuing us. I mean, I can't even take my mind there fully, because even if that happens, then that is part of the creation, that is part of creation, that is part of a divine intelligence. That's part of the process. We don't need to worry about that. But here we go again. If we're boxed into 3D, we don't have a spiritual understanding that we are soul, that soul always decides, the divine decides, whatever that is decides. It's not going to, species have come and gone on this planet. That is part of life. That is part of life on this planet. More than 99% of all species that have ever lived on this planet, for however long they've been here, they went extinct. So we will too, probably. Yeah, who cares? We are here today. We're not about to go extinct. And there are some voices that say, oh, we might still experience our own extinction in our own lifetime, because how many insects are going extinct, and things are going extinct that are essential. And you know what? Even if we were to go extinct in our own lifetime, it's fine. We are eternal beings. We're evolving. Then the earth is evolving into, then something new is coming. And we should be really, really, really excited about that. Really, really excited about that, because it's going to be the transcendence of, we can't degrade. We can't go, we don't devolve. Yeah. So, seeds, the earth is showered with radiation, cosmic radiation at all times. She also has, I call her she, Gaia, she, mother, whatever. It has its own, maybe the masculine feels left out. It has its own protective shields, but there's an intelligence at work which, whatever, and we are now moving into the solar system is moving into a place in the galaxy it's never been in. So we are now exposed to influences, galactic influences, that the Earth has never ever been exposed to. Neither has our sun been exposed to it. It is changing us. It's changing the sun. It's changing the Earth. It's changing the DNA. It's activating things in the quantum field. Or maybe the quantum field itself is the master driver behind the rotations and the movements of us through space-time. So either way, chicken egg, right? Being and becoming, being and becoming. Interestingly, now I'm thinking the chicken is always copying itself into the egg. There's not a whole lot of observable evolution happening there, but that's a working concept, the chicken. But as a human, how do we not just, I'm going back there, never mind whirling through space, but how do we copy ourselves? What happens in the morning? What happens during the night? I mean, what happens during the shedding of skin? We die. We've got a new body every 7 years or whatever. Some systems reproduce every couple of hours. There are like all these different intervals of newness in the body. To consciously work with that, rather than unconsciously let the autopilot run. I have a client says the reason we used to have short lives, and we still have relatively short lives, is because for a very long time spiritual upgrades only happened outside of the body. They didn't happen in the body. And I can see that. We got to check something here. I can see that. Now we're in a time where we are updated, we're getting our spiritual updates in the body, we're doing them ourselves in our lifetimes. And the more we do them consciously, our cellular structure, he says, or innate, he talks about innate being something. I cannot tell you what innate is. He has a hard time explaining it, but he gets there. But it's evolved. It's like, anyway, innate, which is within us, gets the information through us that we are doing our spiritual upgrades in the flesh, And once it realizes that, it changes the programming of short lifetime. Get that. But the spiritual upgrades is not devoid of the body. It is the physiological upgrade. It is upgrading the hardware at the same time as the software. It happens at the same time. I have a fascinating thought. I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't want to jinx it. Note to self. Woo! Anyway, we'll be around a while to test the theories. So we got to do it collectively. Why are the Bruce Liptons and all of them talking about this stuff? They're they're putting new information into the field, and they do it backed up in their scientific way. We believe it. We don't see the blind spots. Like Darwin was completely believed. Now Darwin is like questioned in many circles. Paradigms are believed until they are questioned and ninninit. But when they are questioned and ninninit, maybe proven wrong or upgraded, they are upgraded. It's not like yesterday's truth was a total lie and false. It was the truth for the time. Now we're upgrading the paradigm. So we're doing that all the time. And as humans, we get to choose the paradigms. Which ones do we want to live in? And more are we moving into the paradigm globally of free choice. More and more people are choosing to choose. Many people are leaving religions because the religious context doesn't give them the choice, even though in many cases the choice is inbuilt by the teacher. It is exactly about choice. It's about love, about choice. It's not about anything else. So, but there are many ways to kill a cat. So, oh, what a terrible proverb or expression, whatever. We are the designers to a very large degree. And even if we get given the materials and the prints are already on there, we get given scissors, we get given sewing machines, make something of it. There are there are design patterns. You can take all the materials on offer and make a copy. And we copy until copying something is a way of gathering a skill. Once we have this skill, blue hand, we can become artists, yellow star, the one after the blue hand, right? Incidentally, tone 3 in the wave spell of we're coming into. World Bridger is tone 1, blue hand accomplishment is tone 2. We either, oh, I love it, we're either going into copying and learning skill, or we've learned skill and we're going into artist. But either way, the artist becoming a creator is the driver for the World Bridger and the blue hand in that case. Equalizing opportunity. We want to increase our opportunities of creation. We are creators. The universe is expanding. It's increasing. We are major drivers of the increase of the universe, of the size of the growing of the universe. By the way, any free-willed being really is really important because we bring in the unexpected, the non-computationable, that we fall out of the mold. We have that within us to do the unexpected, to become the unexpected, to take the route that was not predicted. To be unpredictable is the biggest achievement of the divine, is unpredictability, because that's the creative thing, I think. Like, I could say it like that. Anyway, with my own limited level of understanding, I know nothing, but this is the way I play and the way I enjoy. So if I've understood the pattern, if I've understood the skill, if I've learned to sew, because other people have already left me patterns and the skill to sew, they've done it, I can repeat theirs. And then I can do something new with that. Or I can say, and this happens time and again, we meet people who completely create a thing, the same thing, in a totally different way. Totally different way. And very often those are people, I see them as coming out of not the traditional school system. They're people who've grown up in some village somewhere far away from school, and their creative function in their mind is still very much more active than ours, which has been pressed into pre-existing forms. The modern school system that we are living in, the Western school system, is more, it creates more of a copier. We learn and copy skills. It's not really geared towards the creative side of the human, the yellow star. It's more, repeat what works. Learn what we know. We teach you the world as it is, as we know it. Learn it. Learn it off by heart. You don't learn maths to become creative. You learn maths to learn the kind of logical thinking so that you function. That's how the system is entirely set up. And it was good to be like that. Now we're breaking it open. It's changing. Thank God. Because it doesn't work anymore. In case we haven't noticed. And that's a good thing. For many of us on this planet, it's very scary because we're scared of change. We got brought up in a system, learn what works and repeat it. That's a sure thing. No, it's not. I mean, it is and it's not. It's not either or, it's both and more. So we form a complementary relationship between it's something totally new and creative and what works. That builds the new world. We don't want to it happens now and then, a whole civilization gets wiped out and something completely new starts. It's one way. Or we say, okay, we're just going to dismantle it in parts and introduce something new into an existing system, into a working system. We're going to replace what doesn't, we're going to change it from within. Probably much more difficult to do than to say, wipe it clean and start over. But what do I know? I don't know. Sometimes I'm thinking like this version of human X.0 is really like, oh, wipe it clean, please wipe it clean. It's just too much. Like, how do we? But that's just me not seeing the creative force. Like it's happening. The shift is happening. It is so happening. And when you're within certain fields, you don't see it. You can't look outside your own box. But take it from me, it's happening. And we are the drivers of it. Anyhow, so now I've spoken long about what the wizard, the receptivity. Have I spoken about the eagle and the where to plant our seeds? I don't want to do that anymore. I'm tired and I'm hungry. I'm not tired, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I've reached a full stop. And I'm talking so fast. I'm not even exhaling properly. So let's sum it up, because somehow I have a feeling we're talking about the same thing every day. The seed. So now we are our own seed potentials. We are in our mind. We get to choose our seeds, choose our thoughts, choose the paradigms that we like, that gonna get us, at least in theory, that are worth exploring. To me, the paradigm of reproducing my cellular structure at the level that it is today, ad infinitum, this or something better, is a concept I prefer to what I see happening around me. A lifespan of 80 years with a high of 50 or 60, it's just like, hello, have we met? I mean, how short is that? What a waste of this. In a way, I mean, I could go and say, well, just get a new body, there's no waste in that. And that's also fine. So God is still but in any case, that's an exploration. I can kind of see what I find for myself, like that's not what I want. But if I look at, I don't want that. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to spend 10 years in diapers between the age of 80 and 90, for sure not. The more I focus on, I don't want that. What have I created? What seed am I planting? The universe doesn't understand not. So the universe is like, oh yeah, diapers between the age of 80 and 90, your wish is my command. We gotta mind what we think. We gotta mind what we resonate. We gotta mind what we say. We gotta be aware. Wakeful exploration of space. Our mouth is a space. Our words is a space. We're creating space. We're exploring space. And we're here together. We're exploring tone 12. We're exploring the spaces together. We're adding our own ideas, our own wishes, our own desires. Abraham Hicks assures us, so does Bashar, they say, ask and it is done. The minute you want something, it is created, it is given. It may just, it depends on us how fast that thing can come into manifestation. And we are co-creators on this planet, so we are co-creating this earth. And through the advent of the internet, we're seeing the reason we're seeing so much discord is because there is indeed something, probably that's why are they programming the algorithms to show you out of 100 comments? Why are the algorithms programmed to show you the ones that make you angry? Why is that programmed? There is a driving force that programs that, and that's very powerful because we're all using the social media. So there is an intent to cause discord. There's a very deliberate, it's deliberate, and it's powerful. Why? Because if we, wait a minute, if we oh, got a call now, lost my train of thought. If we were left to ourselves, and maybe they realize this, I'm not in that field, maybe they will even tell us, take Facebook, the way it worked initially, and this is how I didn't go Facebook for a long time. When I went in, it just 5 minutes of Facebook in the morning, and I lit up like a cannonball, not in terms of anger, but in terms of aliveness. It inspired me no end. My own algorithmic choices, mine, Tatjana, not the system, made it so that it was still it was programmed in such a way to give me more of what I like. So I like these channels that inspire and da. So I was just inundated with inspiration. And I guess if that's, I don't know, maybe it hasn't, maybe we all just see the mirror reflected. But they say it is programmed to favor the discord stuff, not the peaceful stuff. Because the peaceful stuff gets us peaceful, then we become calm, quiet, happy, flowing, peaceful. In the peaceful state, we don't shop a lot. We don't soothe ourselves through substances. We are coherent. We go into coherence. We create a field we see who our friends are. We connect with them because it gives us joy. We don't need to go shop for yet another sweatshirt that we already have 20 of in the cupboard. That we do when we are in discord, when we are in disharmony. Then we are much more prone in stress. We become sick. Our shopping patterns change. Our system can be more manipulated. It can be remote controlled, remote programmed, etc. So this powers that be know that. So they're hitting us with a lot of stuff that causes that kind of decoherence within us. Because I don't think there's an evil intent beyond we want to make more money. So this is how we do it. When these humans are all fighting each other, they become miserable and then they go and they shop. They are predictable models. If you listen to Shoshana, what's her name? She wrote the Attention Economy or whatever it is, a fantastic woman, fantastic interviews, of her brilliant mind. So we understand how we're being manipulated. But if we take charge ourselves, yellow human, and choose our own content, choose where we place our attention, choose coherence, choose what makes us feel good, skywalk, bring your heaven to earth, choose consciously what makes you feel good, your whole life changes, obviously. And you step out of, my goodness, you step out of that programming. And then the world changes. And with that we change the world. And we're changing it in the in another direction that the powers that be can't control. But they will fall in line with us, because at the end of the day, there's still going to be something we buy. There's still stuff we want, but it isn't the next sweatshirt. It's healing, it's health, it's functioning optimally, it's harmony, it's living artfully, it's freedom. So they're going to have to investigate, how do they sell us shit like that? And in the process, that's going to change them. It's so simple, because they're going to realize, hey, wait a minute, there's a whole field of freedom we never knew about. We thought manipulating people or making lots of dollar, that's the shit. But we didn't realize that we're missing the goal altogether. Or like there's just something else to explore, because maybe they've already made a lot of dollar. And it's like, oh, well, fuck the lot of dollar. Then they're going to do something with a lot of dollar that's going to benefit the whole. Because they're going to realize, like, that is fun. That is great. We have such creative potential. They're going to realize, if I use much dollar to bring out the creative potential, to help people bring out their own creative potential more, it's going to benefit me. It's going to benefit everyone. And when it benefits everyone, crystalline seed today, in the Skywalker wave spell, when it benefits everyone gets to bring the heaven on earth. The whole world gets a better place. Right? Is that logic? Is that Pollyanna thinking? I don't know. To me, it makes sense, and I like the idea. It makes me happy right now. That's all that matters to me. I'm all that matters to me. Without me, I can't be. Red Dragon. So now, life calls, responsibility calls. I'm done. Who have I left out? Seed. There's a red sign on the seed. The earth we've done, the eagle we've done, the wizard we've done, and the warrior is guiding us today. The warrior is tomorrow's occult, and the serpent is the warrior's occult. The yellow warrior, fearlessly questioning intelligence. And it is so necessary to the world bridger. It's the antipode to the world bridger. And all very necessary in the Skywalker, even though the world, blah, blah, blah. Because we gotta, like, let go of what works to allow something new. We gotta fearlessly, always in science, that's the scientific thought. It works, now question it. You've proved it right, now question it. You've, poke a hole into your own theory until you can't. And maybe someone else has to poke holes into our own theories, because we are humanly engineered to actually kind of like the security of, I listen to Roger Penrose, he questions himself, and then at some point he doesn't, and he runs with his theory and he builds on that. And that's what he must do, correct. It's going to have to be someone else to come in from another angle to upgrade his theories, in as much as we're upgrading some of Einstein's theories. Not because Einstein, it doesn't degrade Einstein. Or we are upgrading Freud. Freud was huge in his time, huge system buster. But he's being upgraded. Some of it holds still, a lot of it is being upgraded. But we couldn't get to the upgrade if it hadn't been for Freud putting in what he put in, right? So every past self of us, every past version of humanity, every human point, whatever, every system update and upgrade we're getting is because the other versions have been there. And we're constantly upgrading. And that's cool. That's absolutely cool. Where we're aging and going into something lesser than, which isn't the way people age in all cultures on this planet, take note. Absolutely not. But in this one here, we're really, in so many ways, we're degrading. And the seeds for that are very often planted in childhood. You could call it karma. But there are seeds for that. They were planted and they're blossoming in the human that is at the age of 53 no longer functional. Maybe heavily overweight, maybe super miserable, maybe very sick, maybe whatever. You can be that at the age of 23. You can only get there at the age of 93. You may never get there, but a lot of us really, like, I mean, we're not a model of a healthy society, at least not in my books. Not the Western way of life is not a very healthy way of life. We move too little, we eat wrong, we sleep badly, we follow 9 to 5 jobs. All of it is just like, what the fuck were we thinking? Can we change it? But we need to change it slowly, because a lot of people are locked into their systems. They wouldn't function outside of the system, which is the fear if the AI takes our jobs, the jobbers won't know how to be. I think they will learn something new. We just need to make sure that they have the money they need to survive. So the universal income probably is going to just not be an option. Just roll it out already. See what happens. Take a chance. The day is going to come. Or something better. This or something better. We're going to think of an elegant solution. Let's not be feeding the wolf that fears that people are going to be left by the wayside. People have been left by the wayside. Every time I see a beggar, and they're increasing in Berlin like crazy since 2020 at least, and it's like really such an incline. It's like, what are we doing? You know, like... But I don't want to project the future into we're going to go the American way, and that, you know, like, no, fuck that. I'm sorry, I'm saying it out loud. I hope we are a little wiser than that. Although the minions in our government are trained by who, doesn't look so good, but I hope we are enough down here to say, we ain't having it. We're driving the field somewhere else. This is inhumane. And we've explored inhumanity on this planet enough. Enough. I say it's enough. Off with their heads. Wipe the slate clean. Bring in our seed potential. And whoever can't take the upgrade, go get a new body. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's no problem. This will include me at some point anyway, too. At some point I'll be like, I can't take any more upgrades. This hardware is too old. They're not making any more new versions of the software for this hardware. Like with my beautiful MacBook. Like, it's old, but it still holds. But at some point, I too will need a new hardware. But can I upgrade my hardware in life as I speak? I want to explore that. Okay, now, here we go. Tomorrow, crystalline. Today, crystalline seed. Tomorrow, cosmic serpent. Transcending the body, transcending the Skywalker, transcending into death. Yes! Have a great day. Be inspired. Be in trust that the earth, the life we live, is the nurturing earth for our seeds. That all of our seed potential in time will flourish. We're a lot of seeds, but they can't all come to bloom at the same time. They wait for their time. And in the meantime, we can enjoy the garden that is. We are the garden. We are the expressed divine in this form. We are the quantum field expressing as us right now. And it will continue to do so. Timelessness, the wizard. We are here, and we're breathing, and we're living, and we are with all our illnesses, with our flaws, with our faults, with our idiosyncrasies, with our decoherence, with our coherence, with it all. We are the universe, an amazing, amazing creature, an amazing being that is nothing short of breathtakingly beautiful and artistically, artfully, harmoniously working together. And it's just like we are a part of that. And with our free will, we can create a lot of discord that doesn't exist out there, or the universe would just blow apart. So the pockets where free will can reign free and cause a lot of chaos, they are limited. There are very solid walls around those realities. That's not the penultimate reality. So the ultimate reality is love, coherence, cooperation, the crystalline tone, cooperation, universalization. The universe is cooperative. If it becomes a universal truth, it is a cooperative truth. Saying a certain race has no place on this planet and should be annihilated can never be a truth at all anyway. It's not a universal truth. But the people who believed it, to them it's their truth. But that's not, and that those kinds of truths rarely feed cooperation. All humans are equal in value. They may not be equal in expression, but they're equal in value. Those may be more universal truths. Every human has a right to full life expression. That's a universal truth to me. Stuff like that. And that's cooperative. That harm to none. That means every system gets to express itself until it has fully expressed itself, and then it gets to exhale itself and expire. A system that has lived a full term is glad to expire. We do not die happily when we haven't lived fully. When we've lived fully, death is of no issue at all. And then we have understood life because we have lived it. When we haven't understood it. When we are afraid of death, we don't understand life. That's my own limited truth. It's not a universal truth. Anyway, so wishing us a really inspired day, with many inspired days to come, knowing we're going to be here again. We're going around in circles. We're eternal skywalker. We're eternal seed. But we're going to let it go. We're going to let the seed go for a while. Not for 20 days until it comes back in its major kin. Like today, it's the primary kin, whatever you call it, center kin. But for a couple of days, until it shows up in the musketeer positions, which it does, just reminding us along the way, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here. And in 20 days, it's like, I'm here, boom. I am all that is. Reminding you that the others are still here, but I am the primary focus. And therein lies the beauty of this system also. You get to let go. You have to let go of in quantum physics, they say, it's like the kettle the water kettle that's watched doesn't boil. A state can't collapse into something new while it is observed. The observer collapses the wave function. I can't explain it. I'm butchering this, but it observes it always into the known state. If it wants to go into something new, you have to stop observing it. Let it be. You've planted your seed. Don't observe it. Let it be. Don't keep digging in the earth. Let it be. Focus on something else. Go play. Go sleep. Go dream. Go work. Go make a meal. Go take a cup of coffee. Go smoke. Go do whatever. Distract yourself if you have to. Stop looking at the thing you want to change after you have set the seed intention. Pure intent. You said, this is going to change, and even you can say it's going to change this way. You can say this is going to change to something better. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't have the infinite possibilities of the quantum field. In my limited 3D mind, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't even know that it's possible, but I believe, Red Dragon, I have faith. This is going to change. This seed can sprout. This can heal. If my active involvement is required, I'm going to be told, I'm going to know it. Through intuition, blue night, the intuition is going to tell the Skywalker what it has to do. If it has to do something, or else go play. Okay, I've preached. Have fun. Oh.